presentation mastery, writing a speech with purpose. That's going to be 5 to 7 minutes, and her title is Buzz Off, How to Deal with Mosquitoes. With that, the floor is yours, Claire.
Thank you, Adolfo. So, I was going to start off by saying I have some experience in the matter of mosquitoes. I may have 7 years as a security engineer, but I have 31 years as a mosquito target. So, my speech today, as I mentioned, is on the unofficial bird of several states. So, I am sure everyone is itching to hear what I have to say. I'm going to start off by saying, everyone, raise your hand if you've ever been bitten by a mosquito. All right, now keep it up if you think in a room of 10 or maybe 100 other people in one mosquito, that same bug would find you first every time. I see I'm not alone. The mosquito is such a problem all over the world that they even have their own day, which was actually yesterday, August 20th, World Mosquito Day. It's a commemoration of the time that the British doctor Sir Ronald Ross made a discovery in 1897 that mosquitoes transmit malaria between humans. Malaria isn't all they transfer either. Diseases spread by mosquitoes include West Nile virus, yellow fever, and Zika fever. So World Mosquito Day is a way to kind of showcase prevention methods that can be used against mosquitoes and just raise awareness of how much trouble they cause, basically. So I learned after coming to South Florida, we are unique among the United States for having 80 known species of mosquitoes, which is actually more than any other state in the US. You might also ask, so when is mosquito peak season in Florida? Well, due to our wet weather and warm climates, pretty much every season is peak season, apparently. Lucky us. So, since nobody has ever really gone on record saying that they want extra mosquitoes, I'm going to talk today on a few ways that you can protect yourself from them and hopefully even lower the population a bit. So the biggest thing you can do as a homeowner, as a renter, even as a renter of a single room in a house, is remove standing water from your yard. That's what they use to breed. They lay their eggs in it. The eggs, of course, grow up to be more bloodsuckers. So some of the things you can do to deal with that is make sure your gutters are clear, free of obstructions. If you have things like, say, empty paint cans, buckets, ceramic pots, kids' toys in your yard, you'll want to, every so often, especially after a rain, go around and dump them out. If you have wheelbarrows and wading pools, you'll want to turn them over when they're not in use. And if you have recycle bins, make sure they have drainage holes. And if you have a bird bath, make sure the water is changed once a week. And of course, if you're lucky enough to have a swimming pool, you just want to make sure that it's regularly cleaned and chlorinated. So that's one thing for prevention. Now, what if you want to sit on your deck, say, and not end up with 40 bites in 10 minutes? Well, there are things like repellent candles, like citronella, and you can also take an all-natural approach by planting things like lavender and chrysanthemums. Mosquitoes don't really care for those types of plants. You can also set up a fan. They're not strong flyers. And if you like to keep your windows open in the house, you got to make sure you use screens and that they're in good repair. I may speak for myself here, but I don't think anyone likes hearing that little ee noise at night. It means a choice between getting up and getting bit. So that's as far as what you should do on the house side of things. If you want to have tips for more personal protection, there's a few other things to keep in mind. So mosquitoes are most active during sunrise, sunset, and early evening. So you may want to stay indoors during those times. Some species are attracted to dark colors, so that's also a good thing to inform the goth people in your life of. So what you'll want to wear is long-sleeved, fairly light, as this is Florida, light-colored clothing. You'll want a well-reviewed brand of mosquito repellent too, though strangely enough, I've also heard catnip can be used as a natural repellent. I've never used it, I can't really vouch for it, and if it even protects you from the mosquitoes, I've always wondered what will protect you from the cats. Another method that I have tried personally and like is that you can buy small battery-powered machines that can be clipped to your clothes that use fans to spread repellent over a small area. Then finally, you have the lowest of the low-tech method that was taught to me by my Minnesotan relatives. It's less a method than a way of sharpening your senses over the years. You try to cultivate sort of a Zen state and be alert for the lightest of touches on your arms and legs. As has been said to me multiple times, even if it feels like the wind, slap it. So that's a sample of what I've learned in multiple years on how to deal with mosquitoes. I'm going to close with one more joke. How many mosquitoes did Noah slap on the ark? Obviously not enough. Thank you.
It was a pleasure to evaluate Claire's speech, and as mentioned, she delivered a speech from the presentation mastery level 1, and the purpose of Claire's speech was to choose a topic that was relevant to her, and to also practice on actually organizing the speech and delivering that speech with a minimum 5 minutes, maximum 7 minutes. So she was tasked with choosing a topic, organizing a speech, and delivering that speech within 7 minutes. And I can say that she did. The speech was definitely well organized. It had a clear beginning, it had a clear body, and it also had a clear closing. What started as the introduction. The introduction of Claire started with a little bit explanation of her speech. But in this situation, the explanation actually added to the speech a bit, because during our explanation, we learned that there was actually a thing called National Mosquito Day, which I was not aware of. Yeah, so that was good, because if she was, say, giving a regular speech, I'll say she could have just started with the question that she asked, and that question actually had some audience engagement when she had us put our hands up and to hold our hands up. So that was very good. So she had audience engagement. Claire was she did not show any sign of being nervous. She was very poised, and she used easy to understand words, simple sentences, clearly. I would not say she was monotone. I say minimal. I saw minimal hand gestures, minimal facial expressions, but to say the least. Let's see what else. One thing I would say, Claire, if I was to say to add value, is to work on some more transition words, because I noticed that you use the word "so" a lot. So your transition, that's the area that can be improved. And let's see what else. And there's some humor that you use, but for the most part, you went by so fast that you say a joke, but you don't give us enough time to react to the joke. You just went on. And even the closing, you said a joke, and before we were able to think to answer, you answered it. But otherwise than that, Claire, was very good. Your speech was very well organized. It was very concise. It was entertaining to listen about mosquitoes. You told us about prevention and how to repel them. So yeah, it was very clear, and it was a subject that I'll say is relevant to the audience. The audience was captivated, and it was engaging. And we're definitely looking to more speeches from you, Claire. Job well done. Thank you. And back to you, Adolfo.